Hello, everyone. In today's video, we'll cover some critical issues that many users commonly experience. First, let's discuss the issue related to OneDrive when installing TunaMetaPack. Normally, if the installation proceeds correctly, you'll see template folders for MeshWarp and MetaHumanSet within the Maya folder in your documents. Additionally, a TunaRig folder will be created outside of that folder. All of these templates are designed to install automatically in the default Documents folder, which is based on the current Windows user profile. However, if issues persist after installation, or if you're unable to load these templates, you'll need to check the Documents folder within your user account in the Users folder on your C drive. You'll likely find that the templates aren't actually installed in the account's Documents folder. Notice anything strange here? Although the default Documents folder on Windows has the templates installed, but all the templates missing in the Documents folder within your user account on the C drive. In other words, this means that the default Documents folder for Windows is not the one inside your user account's Documents directory. So what exactly is going on here? Yes, this is because the Documents folder is located inside the OneDrive folder within your user account. For those experiencing this issue, the Documents folder inside OneDrive has been set as the default Documents folder for Windows. To revert this to its original state, you need to log in to OneDrive. Once logged in, we'll complete the sync settings and then disable synchronization for the Documents folder. Start by logging into your OneDrive account. And ensure you're using the OneDrive folder displayed here. Sync the Documents folder and proceed with the setup as instructed. Now, the Documents folder inside the OneDrive folder within your user account will sync. Open the OneDrive settings from the Windows tray icon. Do not unlink your PC from this account yet. It's important not to do so at this stage. The reason we're resyncing is to properly restore the Documents folder. Go to the Sync and Backup tab and open the settings under Manage Sync. You'll see that the Documents folder is currently synced, as we said it earlier. Disable this sync. When a message window appears, click Stop Backup. Once the sync with the Documents folder is successfully disabled, Windows will reset its default Documents folder to the original location in your user account, not the OneDrive folder. After this, if you wish to continue using OneDrive, simply close the Settings window. If you no longer wish to use OneDrive at all, click Unlink this PC. You should now be able to confirm that Windows' default Documents folder has been reset to the one within your user account. However, the templates are still installed in the Documents folder inside OneDrive. To fix this, completely uninstall TunaMetaPack from the control panel. Note that this doesn't mean simply reopening the installer and reinstalling it. Doing so would reinstall the templates to the same incorrect location. You must fully remove it through the control panel before reinstalling. Once it's completely uninstalled, run the installer again. Now, you should see that the templates are correctly installed into the original Documents folder within your user account. Many users have encountered significant frustrations during the initial installation process due to OneDrive's Documents folder being set as the default. While we don't have anything against OneDrive, this issue can critically affect any tool that installs files into the user profile's Documents folder. If you've experienced this problem, please follow this video's guidance to ensure a proper installation. You should now see the templates correctly set up. One more thing. For first-time users logging in, please note that this account has no connection to your TunaRig site account. You must register a new ID and password using the serial key you received. Some users have mentioned that their TunaRig site account doesn't sync during this login process, but this is expected. The license account is entirely separate from the account used on our site. This time, let's address how to handle errors related to missing Win32 modules or the absence of the L icon after installing TunaMetaPack and launching Maya. First, open the command prompt with administrator privileges. I'll guide you through manually installing Win32 for Maya. First, navigate to the folder where Maya is installed. Then go into the bin folder. Use the cd command to change directories, copying and pasting the full path to the bin folder. Next, enter the following command. In my case, it's already installed. However, if Win32 isn't installed for your Maya, this command should download and install it via pip. After that, you need to use mayapy again to run the Win32 postinstall.ti script located within Maya's installation path under Python scripts. This step completes the installation process. Refer to the code on screen to ensure you execute the commands correctly. The Win32 module must actually exist within the specified folder for it to function correctly. If you see that the related DLL files for Win32 have been successfully installed into the System32 folder, the installation was successful. In addition to Win32, you'll also need to install the cryptography module using the same pip install method as before. I'll include the necessary commands and instructions in the description below this video for easy reference. Normally, our installer automatically installs the required Python packages, including Win32. However, in very rare cases, some users might encounter issues where this doesn't happen. Here's how you can manually install the necessary package, so follow along as a reference. This time, I'd like to address an issue some of you might encounter after completing your MetaHuman setup. After finishing the setup, exporting the head skeletal mesh, importing it into the engine, and applying the post-animation blueprint, you might notice that the character becomes distorted. For example, in my case, the character's ears are completely deformed, but some of you might experience similar issues in other areas of the character. Let's now discuss the root cause of this problem and how to resolve it. In the anim node rig logic graph, there's a specific node responsible for reading the DNA. If you disconnect and reconnect this node, the distortion disappears. However, this workaround prevents the DNA from being read, meaning the face won't be able to move. So, why is the DNA being read incorrectly? The fundamental issue is related to the skeletal mesh's joints. This problem occurs because the joint names in the exported skeletal mesh don't match the joint names stored in the DNA file. In other words, at least one of the head joints had an incorrect name at the time you exported the skeletal mesh. How should we solve this problem? The method is easier than you might think. It's just that the procedure is a bit complicated. Open a new scene in Maya. Then, use the DNA viewer to load the DNA again. Since the DNA I'm using is an old version, I loaded the old GUI, but you need to select the version that matches your DNA. Let's load the head rig in a completely clean state. Don't worry, everything you applied to the DNA previously will still be reflected when you reload it. While it's loading, delete the head rig from the existing body rig. Then use TunaUtils to clean up the current scene and automatically remove unused nodes. This feature cleans up all unused nodes, plugin nodes, and more. If you open the script editor, you'll be able to see what was deleted. Now, it looks like the head rig is finished loading, so check to make sure it was loaded correctly. Now, let's save the scene. Then, load the newly saved head rig back into the body rig. When importing, use the import option and make sure to disable namespaces so that no additional namespaces are added. Once the head rig is successfully imported, open MetaHuman Set again and reconnect the head and body. Since this is a completely reloaded head rig, you'll need to reapply the skin using the Auto Skin Load function. If you don't reload the skin, you'll encounter mismatches in skin weights, such as gaps when lifting the clavicle upward. Now, reload the skin. This will prevent any further gaps. This step was explained in a previous tutorial, so be sure to refer to it. Before applying the material, let's configure the LOD settings. Select your LOD setting group. Disable all unnecessary LODs and leave only the ones you're using. I'll use TunaUtils to delete all layers related to the head in the current layers. Now it's time to apply the materials. Oh, before that, I'll set the head controller to follow the head for now. And I'll also rearrange the control board. Applying materials is the same as before. Load the head template using Mesh Warp and click the corresponding button. Afterward, you can delete the Mesh Warp template since it's no longer needed. Now, lastly, we just need to create the root joint for these head joints. Everyone remembers the previous tutorials, right? Set it up exactly the same way as before. However, make sure no namespaces are attached, and the head rig group must be at the top hierarchy in the outliner. Be sure to verify that everything from the root to the spine is created properly. Great, the setup in Maya is now complete. It's time to export. I'm sure you all remember how to export the head rig. Temporarily move the root joint of the body rig into a new group and hide it. Then, take the root joint and LOD group inside the head rig group and move them outside of the outliner hierarchy. Select the entire hierarchy of these two objects, then open the game exporter. Set the export mode to Export Selection, Never Use, Export All. Also, make sure to uncheck Input Connections and Embed Media. You must proceed with the entire hierarchy of these two objects selected. Now, I'll export to my desired path. All right, let's go back to the engine. If the FBX path is the same, re-import it. If it's different, update the path and re-import your head skeletal mesh. You might see a warning message pop up. The reason for this warning is that the skeletal mesh you previously exported had an abnormal skeleton structure. Since we just exported with a perfectly proper skeleton, we're going to click Yes here. Also, under no circumstances should you ever modify or save the face archetype skeleton of the default metahuman due to a state change. The face archetype skeleton, which is the master bone of the default metahuman, must always be left as is. Did you see that just now? Now, the mesh has been imported correctly. Even if you turn the post-process AnimBP off and on again, there are no issues, right? This is what a proper setup looks like. While setting up the head, there are various situations where mistakes could happen. For example, accidentally copying joints or the joint names automatically changing for some reason. In such cases, make sure to refer to this video and handle this situation correctly following our guide. In this video, we looked at how to resolve unexpected issues during the installation process. and critical bugs related to the head rig reading DNA. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching.